Hope you had a LA Rams sort of night. I had a feeling. Whoa, sometimes I get a good feeling. I had a feeling that the Rams had extra to play for, and they would play big. The Vikings had lost a little bit of confidence, but I did think that they would show up more than that.
This bothers me.
And it's not all Darnold's fault. I want to make that clear.
Listen, I'm going to defend Sam Darnold, but we are going to talk what the heck you do with this guy moving forward. But, when he said this, I thought it was a beautiful sentiment, so don't get it twisted. We live in L.A., a lot of destruction, a lot of sadness. But this is what Matthew Stafford said after the game.
What we were playing for today, it was go get this win, but man, it's for the people of Los Angeles struggling right now. It's been unbelievable to watch the whole community, the state, the country kind of get behind them. It's a tough time to be back there, and we're just happy that we came out and played like this tonight to get something to be happy about.
Yeah, how do you think that what's happening back at home maybe somehow inspired you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we were living it every day, and it was a tough week for us. A bunch of moving parts. Our organization did a hell of a job of taking care of us, getting us over here to practice, setting it up with families. I mean, it's been a whirlwind, and to come out here, play like we did in really all phases, I'm really proud of this group.
Did you add that emotional music?
I did, just to prove my point.
Okay.
I thought he was going to start singing.
Everything's better with emotional music in the background.
But listen, you said it yesterday. Covino goes, they're going to play for L.A., and I
look, in a game of inches, right? Mm-hmm. Every little advantage helps. And if they have something serious to play for, they all want to win. I do believe that. But they have that little extra on their mind. Like, we got to do it for the city of L.A. We have to. You saw Puka Nacua cheering about it. He was all smiles, almost tears. Like, we did it for L.A. Stafford did it for L.A. I call it the old do it for Johnny.
Let's do it for Johnny, man. We'll do it for Johnny.
Now, here's what Rich thinks. Rich doesn't believe in the old do it for Johnny. And I'm like, no. And there's too many examples where it comes into play. People play with that extra passion, that extra motivation that they need to push them over the hump. You saw the Rams playing big last night. The Vikings' offensive line couldn't even stop them. They had 9 sacks last night.
It was an offensive line.
It was an offensive line. My question, just to get it going, Fox Sports Radio Nation, do you believe in the old do it for Johnny? Do you believe in that?
Let's do it for Johnny.
Because, Rich, you think what?
I think that everyone's trying to do it for Johnny. Everyone's got a different Johnny. Look at it this way. There are Vikings players that probably reside in Southern California.
Yeah, but they don't represent Southern California.
Let me give you a dumb analogy. You know when you buy a car, and you may have never seen that car on the road, and then you get that car, and you're like, oh, my God, there's another Rivian. There's another Jeep. There's another, BMW, whatever.
Another one.
And you don't notice it until you have it. I think we notice these things when they happen because they're beautiful stories, but so many times there's someone playing for someone or something, and when it doesn't work out, you just move past it.
What Rich is trying to say, and he said it many times, he thinks that there's no such thing as wanting it more. And I completely disagree. He's like, they all want it the same. And here's why. You can see it in the fight game. Everybody's fighting for a championship. Everyone's fighting for the bag or the heavyweight belt, right? Some guys are fighting to survive, fighting to put food on the table, fighting to get their family out of poverty, fighting to change the family stars. And then there's other people fighting because it's the sport. You're going to tell me the guy fighting to get out of the barrio isn't fighting harder and stronger, wants it more than the guy who was born with the silver spoon, just fighting because he likes to box?
Did you just give me the storyline of Rocky 3 when Rocky got a little too complacent and he lost the eye of the tiger?
Doesn't that prove the point? Rich is saying there's no such thing as wanting it more. They all want it. And I'm like, baloney.
They're pro athletes. They all want it. Listen, every team, if you wanted to dig for a sentimental storyline, you could find one. It's just the Los Angeles one is near and dear to us. We live here. We know people. We've seen things. It's been a terrible week and a half in Los Angeles. There's no doubt about that.
Well, dude, if you don't believe in extra added motivation, then what? Rally cries don't help. Motivational speeches don't help. When they're getting in the huddle and getting people hyped up, that doesn't help.
Yeah, you believed in that OMG song.
Yeah.
If that were the case, the Mets would have won the World Series.
Yeah, but
Danny.
that brought the team together, man.
Yeah, and Rich, you've struck out on this argument before. 2 Octobers ago. Go back in the CNR time machine here on Fox Sports Radio. You argued with us the day Dick Butkus died, and Covino said, "Do it for Dick."
That's been his slogan since college.
And Rich,
No, I was just reading Rich's tattoo.
yeah, Rich, you said, "Nah, Chicago's not going to come out with extra effort for that. I don't know if these young players even know who Butkus really is." Remember?
Yes.
And then they scored 40 that night, won the game. Post game, the players were saying that was for Butkus, and you came in the next day and you're like, oh, okay.
Danny, your Dodgers didn't win the World Series for Fernando Valenzuela. They just happen to be a great team. And you know what? The fact that a legend passed away, it adds to the story.
Yeah, but it's added motivation.
And Chicago was not a great team in 2023.
I'm not saying this is a foolproof plan that's undefeated. Of course, it's not always going to work. Some teams are just better, but I think it could bring teams closer together, something to rally around. You're doing it for the fans. That Dick Butkus story, that was a good one because Rich did make a point.
All right.
These young players didn't even know who he was. But after the game, they're like, we did it for him. We know how much he meant to the organization, to the fans. Didn't they say they showed us a bunch of his highlights before the game? So it got them inspired and motivated. I do think those little things work. They matter. You know, the Rams may have just beat them anyway, but the fact that they were playing for L.A. in a time of need, I think added to it.
Right.
It adds to the story, no doubt. But I do believe in the do it for Johnny. And as I said yesterday, and I'll say it one more time, Rich, to me, one of the greatest examples was Brett Favre playing his biggest, best game the day his father died. Just more to play for. It was an escape for him to be in between the lines, playing for his dad, and put up crazy numbers on a magical night.
Listen,
Do it for Johnny.
I don't want to be the Joe Montana here. And by that, I mean, I don't want to ruin the Rudy story. You know, Joe Montana is one of my heroes.
It's okay if this is what you really believe.
but-
If you believe it's coincidence, then
I,
that's fine.
I never want to be the buzzkill of fun. In fact, I'm the guy that wants to have too much fun. But
I'm sorry, Charlie Murphy. I was having too much fun.
I am. Sometimes I don't know how to not, I don't know how to be serious. So the reality is it's odd for me to have this stance on it because I don't want to be the Joe Montana that says, well, guys, the team really didn't throw their jerseys on the desk for Rudy. Rudy, the movie was really inaccurate. I don't want to be Joe Montana and ruin the story. But for every Brett Favre who lost a family member and had the game of his life, we just don't talk about the guy who lost a family member and then had a crap game. You know what? Brandon Nimmo on the Mets. Remember his grandmother passed away. He found out right before a playoff game. And ended up having, like a couple hits, game-winning hit. That's a great story. But if Nimmo went 0 for 4, we just would never have really heard the narrative. Again, it's like oh, wow, I got these new Jordans. I thought no one else had them. Then you see, 2 other people have them.
Let's leave it to the people. Fox Sports Radio Nation, we're calling on you. You make the call like the old school NFL tapes. You make the call. Do you believe in the old do it for Johnny? The fact that the LA Rams pulled off a 27-9 victory over the Vikings.
Wait, so
so
Harbaugh and the Chargers don't care about LA? They lost.
They were doing it for LA, and you heard Stafford talking about it. Then there's always that magical story of D. Gordon. I know that's one of your favorite stories. How do you not factor that story into it? D. Gordon wasn't a home run hitter, but guess what? He was when he led off the game right after Jose Fernandez died. That was magical. That brought a tear to everybody in the stadium.
That was against the Mets, and I remember even the Mets players were in tears after.
But Rich is saying coincidence.
All right, so
I'm saying magical.
So answer me this.
I'm saying moments. I'm saying added incentive and motivation to get together and really come together for one cause. Dude. Aside from winning, everyone's there to win. They have that little extra.
I don't want to be Debbie Downer. What's the male version of that again?
Negative Norberto.
Just saying. I don't want to be negative Norberto.
Why you gotta be so negative?
But to me, if your theory's correct, and Stafford and Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams and these guys really were playing for all the people out here in LA that were struggling, playing for a city, I get it, dude. I'm not insensitive. I live in LA. I've seen what's happened.
I don't think you're being insensitive. I think you're just taking a realistic approach to it.
By that thinking, the Chargers should have whooped the Texans on Saturday, and my parlay was dead after that game. Jim Harbaugh.
Wait, are you saying Matt Stafford's a liar? I'm pretty sure. What was the first thing you said, Sam? Can you play that one just right off the bat?
What we were playing for today, it was go get this win, but man, it's for the people of Los Angeles.
There it is.
There are people.
I guess you're saying he's lying then.
Now, Rich, the Chargers situation was slightly different because they went to Houston as scheduled. They didn't have the Bidwell's jet airliners picking them up and that stadium bending over backwards to help the LA cause.
I still think of them as the San Diego Chargers anyway.
Okay, so it's
a little different.
That's right. I'll give you that. You know why? This theory was put to sleep for me 24 years ago. The year was 2001.
Yeah, but dude, miracles don't always happen.
That is true. I do not like, and I think I speak on behalf of everyone in this room except Covino,
Green eggs and ham or the Yankees.
I do not like green eggs and ham or the New York Yankees. The one time in my life, I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm a man in my 40s. One time, as a grown man, have I rooted for the New York Yankees. It was when I was living in New York City after 9/11. And that's the 1 year they couldn't get it done?
The 1 year.
They lose to the Diamondbacks?
Mo Rivera lets up a bloop single to Gonzo and they win. That was a nightmare.
I have a question. As a Yankees fan, would you have given up 2 of the other World Series for that one?
No, I mean, things happen as they may. It was a heartbreaker. Everybody was pulling for the Yankees except for Arizona fans at the time.
Yeah.
But you can't expect it to always happen, Rich. But there's so many moments and so many times where it does.
You're not changing my mind. I'm just saying I get it.
Are you saying Matt Damon was lying? Not Matt Damon.
I'm going to let you figure this one out. I don't even know where you're going.
Who? Hold on.
Sam, can you play some on-hold music?
Never heard of him.
I got why? Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon.
You saying Matt Dillon? Is a liar in the movie The Outsiders?
The lesser known.
Yeah. How do you think the Greasers beat the Socias, dude?
Again, not trying to be a negative Norberto. I'm happy for, of course, the Rams in Los Angeles. It's a great story. But I don't think... I just don't think they outplayed the Vikings because they're you got a little heavy heart because of all the sadness here in LA. I think they're just...
All right, let me ask you this. When they were in the locker room trying to hype each other up, smashing helmets, hitting each other in the pads.
What are you doing in the locker room?
Right? Getting each other fired up for the game. What do you think they were saying to each other? George Foreman guarantee. George Foreman guarantee. They were like, we're doing this for the city of LA.
What are you selling, mufflers?
Dude, so many people are watching this game tonight. We got to give them something to cheer about. Let's do it for LA. We're the LA Rams. We got to do it for... I guarantee you that's what they were saying.
Sure. You know what? If it was helpful motivation, I can't argue with that.
So, anyway, your thoughts
You know what, Covino, really quick, I wish the Lakers could have taken your sentiment because last night they lost by, 20 to Wemby in the Spurs on Cooper induction night. And J.J. Redick is a person who lost his home, unfortunately, in the fire.
J.J. Redick lost his home, and they lost by 20. So, again, it doesn't work all the time.
I heard his story. His kids lost all their collectibles and jerseys. It's so sad.
Cove, answer me this.
Yeah.
Do you think this goes under the same category as bulletin board material? Because another layer of the Rams story was that, did you hear how it got out that after the Vikings-Lions game 2 weeks ago, when during the post-game little handshake, there was the sentiment of see you in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a insult to the Rams, like, what are they? The Lions and everyone thinks that, they'll just match up 2 weeks from now against...
I also think it's a matter of the Rams seem to be clicking at the right time, right?
I was going to say momentum, in-season adjustments made by Sean McVay.
Yeah.
He's always good at that, and the Rams always seem to click towards the end of the year when it matters.
They seem to be clicking. They seem to be pumped.
Their
they made
defense,
the Vikings look flat.
Yeah, their D had momentum going into this.
We can't forget the fact that they got a total momentum call with that forward pass. I got to be PG here. My goodness, that was a ridiculous call. So again, they had calls in their
Should have at
favor
least
as well.
been grounding. Come
At
on.
least intentional grounding on that.
And don't forget, we got to remember how teams finish. An NFL record, I'm not saying means nothing, but if a team has a slow start, do you think how they played in September really reflects how this team goes into the playoffs? The Rams, while their record only says 10-7, they finished, I'm pretty sure, like 7-1 in the last 8 games.
And they had that the Vikings were coming off of a knockout.
They had a throwaway game week 18 against the Seahawks where they didn't play their starters. So the Rams have played as good as anyone for the second half of the year. So that's something to think about too.
It's a simple question. If you don't want to answer it on the phone, you could always hit us up on social media at Covino and Rich, and you could check out our TikTok while it's still up for 5 more days. Again, the question's simple. Is it coincidence, moments like this, coincidence, or do you believe in the old do it for Johnny, we have extra to play for?